Welcome back to the Business Launch Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Ann Jimenez, and we're back for part 2 of how to create highly engaging social media post ideas to crush your content calendar. I am giving you another 5 ideas in this episode. And if you've ever encountered the annoying reality of not knowing what the heck to post about on social media, not having great ideas to fill up your content calendar, you're going to love this episode, my friend. So let's get right into it. Familia, I hope you're doing amazing. And if you haven't listened to part 1 of this episode, please go ahead and do that now. It's going to be linked somewhere in the description, depending on where you're watching or listening to the show, because it's going to give you so much to think about. But in this one, we're going to jump into 5 more post ideas for a total of 10 really good ones. So this one is to share a behind the scenes post. And I know this sounds basic, but you would not believe how much people want to see what you do. As small business owners, we're always engaged in something. And this happens to be my go-to when I just need a good dose of social media post ideas that don't take a ton of my time. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need something fast that I can post. And I love it because it's just documenting. You just post, something that you're working on. I love doing this almost daily on my Instagram stories. And these posts tend to perform really well because they build that curiosity loop for people. Humans, we're super, super curious beings. And it really helps us to connect with the human on the other side of the screen. So it helps to humanize your brand, especially if you have a brand, meaning you're not a personal brand. So you have a company and a company logo and a company social media account showing like what your staff is up to, what your team is up to, how you're packaging orders if you're a small team or even if you're a large team, how your product is made, how you purchase materials, raw materials, how you create your content, how you service people, how you work on maybe like, let's say you're a marketing agency, how you work on content for your clients. Maybe you're a bookkeeper or an accountant. You can show behind the scenes of how you would set up a system for a client or how you perform an audit for a client. All these things help to, again, humanize you and build relatability. So whether you're, again, working on a new product, producing some new content, shipping out orders, collaborating with partners, delivering your service, or just celebrating a milestone, document it for your followers. It's super simple. Just pull out your smartphone, hit record, and film or take a picture. It doesn't always have to be video. Did I also mention that this content is really easy to produce? I mean, I talked a little bit about that, but seriously, you should be documenting instead of creating everything from scratch. This is one of the things that Gary Vaynerchuk has talked about at length with his social media strategy, and I think it's brilliant. Document instead of creating something new. It's really highly engaging and it gets your posts done quickly. The example that I pulled here was from one of my actually favorite skincare brands is called Osmosis Beauty, and they're just showing a behind the scenes of one of their customers, like I think it's packaging a product. I just have a screenshot. It's a video, but I think they're just packaging a product, or it's one of their customers opening up a box and talking about her favorite products. And I think it's so, so cool to just see, get to see other people in action. The other thing you could do is to ask your audience a question. This one is simple, right? It sounds super basic, but really when it comes down to it, most of us are not having real conversations with our followers, our audience on social media. It's a really great way of getting people talking, and that's what you want to do. So this is an example that I posted on my Facebook page the other day, and I said, hey, so I have a newbie business friend who needs some encouragement and confidence in her new venture. What business books should I recommend she reads that's helped you a ton? And so I got a bunch of people suggesting the books that they love for business that have helped them to build, confidence or feel encouraged in their path. And I thought, wow, what a great way of just building relationship and also getting value from your audience. That was super helpful for me. So one of the things that I think a lot of social media managers do that most people are not aware is that people love sharing their opinion and their advice online. They just love it. If you have not noticed, especially from just how everything is controversial these days, people love sharing their opinions, and you can guide them to share their opinions in a positive or a negative way. So with like nearly every platform placing a lot of weight on comments with their algorithms, this is something that you really want to think about. How can you build essentially icebreakers? Ask your audience questions, have that conversation with them instead of always talking at your audience, talking with your audience, asking their thoughts in a particular scenario or having them share their advice or asking asking them about something they love or are currently enjoying. I do this with polls a lot on our Instagram stories. And in fact, literally today I was having a team meeting and the team was wondering, what are people's behaviors during 4th of July? Do they take this year, for example, it lands on a Tuesday. Are they taking Monday off? Are they taking Monday through Wednesday off? Are they taking Friday off? And we were just having that chat because we had been talking in our coaching group about all the different businesses, and some people were taking Friday off, some people were taking Monday off. This is so interesting. So I just posted a poll and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Are you taking Monday off? Are you taking Wednesday off? What's your deal? And I love being able to get that feedback in real time. And again, it just opens up that conversation. Now, this next idea, this one is super similar to asking a question, but you're doing it in a slightly different way. I love the question format. I think it gives you a lot of just open-ended answers, and that's helpful. But asking for feedback can also be really, really helpful. When you're asking for feedback, another clever way of getting your audience talking is to maybe, like I said, post a poll and ask them specifically about your product or your service, or even be funny or controversial. You can do any of those things. The idea I have here, I have a screenshot, which, by the way, I keep referring to this, but if you didn't know, we have a blog for every single one of our episodes where we share more resources and tools that we don't have time to talk about on the podcast. Check out the blog post. It's going to be linked in the description below because it represents a visual, right? It's going to show you some screenshots of how other small businesses and thought leaders are using these ideas in action. This one is a tweet from Elon Musk, and he says, who should be president in 2032? And Transformers versus diffusion. And Transformers won by a long shot. It was 77.4%, which I think is so funny because 1 million people voted in this poll. This is crazy. So it's just a cool way of bringing your audience into the conversation by asking them, simple things like maybe what do they prefer that your next content piece be? What are some topics that they're curious about? What are their thoughts on current events? Or just something silly like, hey, what color of paint should I use in the new credenza I bought for my office? What do you think? Should I use sage green or this light baby blue? Just little things like this can make a big difference for people feeling like it's fun and that they're connected to you. You want to get creative. This does not need to be serious. It also does not need to be stressful. It's just a fun way of connecting with your audience. And so here's the main takeaway. Asking for advice, insight, or polling your audience on everything from your next content piece to what color your new packaging should be really can boost your engagement and build again those connections, especially if you feel like your reach has been low or the algorithm has been a little sluggish. This can kind of wake up things. All right, the next idea is to answer a commonly asked question. And for me, whenever I'm in doubt, I go for the Q&A. Q&A is easy, it's simple, it's valuable, and it packs a punch. But seriously, I really like using this on my Instagram stickers, and you could do this on any platform. I'm talking about Instagram a lot because we use it often because that's kind of where our people are. But you could apply this anywhere. And I've also seen a lot of great examples of this. For example, I follow Dr. Motley on social media, and on Instagram, he's always answering questions on his Instagram all the time, and he gets such good questions, and he gets to showcase his expertise, right? He's a service provider. So people want to go see him. They want to become patients because the depth of his knowledge is really vast. And he gets to showcase that for free, add value, build his audience, build engagement, and then be able to promote his practice. So I think it's such a good idea and something that we all should be doing more. So you could be creating a YouTube short answering a common question, or maybe use the comment sticker on TikTok to create a video answer. You can also do this on Reels, right? Someone might post a comment and then you can answer their question through a reel video. It's a really easy way to showcase your expertise and just add value right on the feed. All right, my friend, this is the final one, and that's to share a free resource. Now, most of us really forget this one a ton, but it is the fastest and smartest way to shift the relationship from a follower and get them to join your email list. We love calling these free resources lead magnets. Some people call them freebies, some people call them freemiums. We use the term lead magnets. I'm going to link to an episode that's related to this topic. But basically, while you are referring someone to a resource, or you're offering something really cool like an ebook or a template or a guide or a discount code or a class or a PDF report in exchange for their name and email, you're able to stay in touch with your audience even if the algorithm lowers your reach. God forbid your accounts get hacked. This happens all the time. I literally get DMs about this all the time with people like, Kim, I lost my Instagram account because I fell for a scam and someone hacked my account and I spent, however many years building it. And I'm like, do you have an email list? Like, do you have an email list? Do you have a way of contacting your people if, for whatever reason, a platform stops working or you get hacked or, they decide to take your account down? So I think at least 20% of your posts should be relating to something promotional like a lead magnet or even your product. I think this is a really good way of adding more value, getting your audience talking, especially if it's something that they really, really want or need. And speaking of lead magnets, we have an amazing one for you guys. It's the Content Calendar template. It's a brand new resource and we want to help you just finally cut through some of your consistency problems. If you're having inconsistency issues where you're starting and stopping with social media, the first step is really to create a system for organizing and planning your content, adding some strategy to it so that you can start actually producing that content and sharing a ton of value with your audience on a regular basis. So the Content Calendar template 2.0 is a brand new. We have been offering this resource for you guys since 2015. It's been a long time. And it's one of our most downloaded resources on the website for good reason. It's really powerful and we just completely did it over. I think you're going to absolutely love it. It's now in a spreadsheet format and it's interactive and helps you kind of just develop the system to stay really smart with your content creation. So you can check that out over at thecontentcalendartemplate.com. It's totally free. thecontentcalendartemplate.com. I would love for you to check out that resource. We also have a free video by yours truly that walks you through how to set it up, and I think you're going to get a ton out of it. So fam, I hope that these 5 highly engaging post ideas have gotten your wheels churning so that you can then take our Content Calendar template and fill it up with some really great content, or again, just giving you lots of different resources, tips, and strategies so that you're leveling up your content creation like a pro, staying consistent, and really attracting an audience of highly qualified followers that care about what you are offering so that you can grow your business, serve more people, and really, really multiply your God-given gifts. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate it over on Apple Podcast and share it with a business buddy, a business friend who might also be struggling with what the heck to post about on social media, or really what to use to fill up his or her content calendar like a pro. I love you. I mean it. And I will see you on the next episode. Un beso. Bye for now.